Na míle a míle daleko, za velkou louží, za 9 horami, 7 řekami a 2 mosty, za mlhou tak hustou, že by se dala krájet, leží město veliké, jehož sláva hvězd se dotýká. Ale Praha to není. Žije v něm spousta princezen a princátek, ale i chrabrých zlatokopů a odvážných motorkářek. Všichni tam tak žijí podle svých snů, mají se rádi a jednou za čas vyjdou do ulic, aby přemohli zlou saň, která se jim snaží jejich sny zmařit. Pojďte se podívat, kam kráčí obyvatelé města svatého Františka a jaké jsou jejich sny na začátku roku 2010.
Welcome to the Castro, one of the world's oldest and longest ongoing gay neighborhoods. My name is Kim, and I'm a tour guide for Foot Comedy Tours Come Out to the Castro tour. So I'll take you around the neighborhood for a little while. This neighborhood used to be predominantly an Irish Catholic working class immigrant neighborhood. That was until the 1950s and early 60s when, like all across America, families were moving out to the suburbs. So the neighborhood became run down, a lot of the stores were closed up, property values plummeted, and it became a prime target for gay gentrification. And that's exactly what happened. In the 60s and early 70s, the gays flooded into the Castro and made it our own gayborhood. Let me show you around a little bit.
If you're going to San Francisco,
quand San Francisco s'embrûle, San
Francisco, I'm gonna move to San Francisco.
We're back in San Francisco.
Queer history has obviously always existed because we've been around forever. Where we started being recognized, and in some cases that meant recognition meant, oh, now you're a target, would be here, it was the Compton's cafeteria riot. So we had the pluses and the good parts of a lot of queers hid within the hippie movement, because this was a general place where you could be, where any sort of sexuality and any kind of artistic expression was welcomed. I think prior to that, one of the reasons that San Francisco is a center of queer artists as much as it is because, well, when after World War II, when the Navy deposited a lot of sailors, many of them were here, and a lot of them were gay, and many of them were drummed out and placed here. So that stayed there. It was a large arts community in the 40s and 50s. The Beat generation, Allen Ginsberg, all of these kinds of things. In the 40s, out of necessity, and in the early 50s, the community was pretty much one community. But after the 60s, the community did seem to fracture and separate into the gay community and the lesbian community.
Sir, my girlfriends say you guys don't like women. I'm just asking. Is there a place for us in all this, or are you all scared of girls?
Okay, gentlemen, we've already got a Tinkerbell, a Lotus Blossom. We've got Jim and Dick in their three-piece suits. We need someone to manage things, a woman this time. Plus, she's the right price, and she's got bigger balls than anybody else in here.
Queers have also been at the forefront of many other liberation movements and anti-war movements, and very often when they were restrained for those or when they were arrested for those, they would find out who was queer and they would get special treatment, and not in a good way. So there's been a long history of being brutalized by the legal system. It's been gratifying to see that through this battle that there seems to be more of a melding of the gay and the lesbian and the trans communities and the bi communities within this entire you know, this whole city.
V současnosti, kdy je v civilizovaných zemích tolerance vůči homosexualitě téměř samozřejmostí, zažívají v Kalifornii krok zpátky. Poté, co v červnu roku 2008 vrchní kalifornský soud uzákonil sňatky homosexuálů, byl zákon po 5 měsících federálním soudem zrušen. Důvod? Ochrana rodiny, neboli křesťanská morálka. V těchto dnech vrcholí v soudní síni kalifornského vrchního soudu znovu projednávání návrhu číslo 8 a všichni případ bedlivě sledují. Výsledek je očekáván každým dnem.
When Proposition 8 passed, it got people who had been comfortable with letting other people fight their battles. Oh, we've built institutions. We don't have to do this. We have people who do this for us. And that's never really been at the forefront of any successful movement for civil rights. And that's what this is. This is a serious civil rights issue. So people got out into the streets again and re-energized the community to battle for themselves and not just leave it in the hands of our designated hitters. You know, we were going to take back some of this fight ourselves.
San Francisco je ale stále jedním z nejsvobodnějších měst Spojených států. Lidé, kteří vlastní nejúspěšnější americké firmy, tu žijí v krásných viktoriánských domech společně s početnou komunitou pokračovatelů hnutí hippies ve čtvrti Heights, kde se dá pořídit všechno, co souvisí s konzumací marihuany. A večer ožívá i teplá čtvrt Castro. Ráj všech queer lidí, kteří potřebují být v centru dění a rádi se baví.
This is a community mural done by our community for our community, and it has a lot of GLBT community elements in it. We have the rainbow flag there, and then over here we have the Dykes on Bikes with the leather flag, and the Dykes on Bikes kick off our Gay Pride Parade every year here in San Francisco. Down further in the mural, we have a representation of the AIDS Memorial Quilt, which also started here in San Francisco. It was created by Cleve Jones in 1987 at the height of the AIDS crisis to give people a chance who were losing loved ones to make a visual memorial for them. Cleve Jones was also a protege of Harvey Milk. Unfortunately, today, there are over 50,000 panels in the AIDS quilt, and if you laid it end to end, it would be 52 miles long, and if you stacked it up and weighed it, it would be 50 tons. A lot of lives lost, but a lot of lives memorialized as well.
Komunitním centrem, které plní společenskou a sociální funkci ve městě, je The Center. Stará se o queer bezdomovce, lidi s AIDS a psychiatrickými postiženími, ale pořádá i festivaly a provozuje mateřskou školu pro děti queer rodičů.
Well, welcome to the San Francisco Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender Community Center, also known as The Center. The Center has been around since 2002, and we have quickly become the focal point of the LGBT community here in San Francisco and the Bay Area and beyond. Visitors come to the center to meet each other, to connect with one another, to find out how they can make a difference in the community and access the needed services that they need in order to improve their lives in a variety of different ways. So we're at the center's 4th floor patio where community members can come, grab their lunch, read, hang out on a sunny day or on a typical foggy day here in the beautiful city of San Francisco. We are centrally located within the city, and we border a variety of different neighborhoods, including the historic Castro District, but also the Mission District, the Financial District, and the Western Addition. And it was very important for us to have a centrally located space because we know that members of the community live in all neighborhoods and in the variety of different cities across the Bay Area. Many young people in our community have faced incredible discrimination. They've been thrown out of their houses for being lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender. They've moved to San Francisco, and they have found out that San Francisco is a really hard place for them to live in. It's a hard place to find jobs, to find housing that's affordable. And so many have turned to the streets. And so at the community center, we have set up 2 programs. One is a meal night program where young people get a warm, nourishing meal on a weekly basis and get connected to the vital services that they need. And then the other one is a program called Free Your Mind, which is a skills-based arts program where young people uncover all of the different challenges that they're faced with and turn those challenges into statements using art. So one of my favorite rooms is the center's kids space. One of our major goals here at the center is to help young children feel normal about being in LGBT families, have a sense of community, and then have a sense of pride in their LGBT families. And we do that through this on-site childcare facility where we take care of kids, and we do work with them while their parents are engaged in a variety of different activities throughout the building.
We're now at the corner of Market and Castro at the Twin Peaks Bar. Now, the Twin Peaks Bar generally has clientele of gay men of a certain age, and being the bitchy queens that we are, we have a couple of nicknames for this bar. One is God's Waiting Room. The other one is the Glass Coffin, but that's not why we talk about the Twin Peaks Bar. We talk about it, this used to be an old Irish pub until 1972. As the neighborhood was transitioning more and more into a gay neighborhood, the new owners opened it up as a gay bar. And as far as we know, it's the first gay bar in the world that had big plate glass windows that you could not only see out of, but could see into as well.
Whoa, hi. Who are you? Is this a porn shoot? Are you one of those checkmate guys? I'm Dwayne Calizo, the executive director of Mama Calizo's Voice Factory, San Francisco's epicenter for queer and activist performance, and this is where we live. It's very amazing, the shows that we do here. We have a lot of social justice issues that we tackle, but we don't tackle it in traditional forms. We present art in multidisciplinary, experimental, queer, boundary-pushing ways. Queer means deviating from what the normal is. Exploring outside of the box. It's not about sexuality. Really, queerness is a state of mind. We have the home of the San Francisco City. What is that? Each room has a different theme. So, back alley Sally's, that's my keys, thank you. And look at my toes, they're nice, they match my pants. Show me with no feet. I'm from Hawaii, I can, you know, not wear shoes. This is Jason. Jason used to work for Details magazine, and he's very famous New York graphic artist, designer, and he's very cute. He's the newest addition to the family.
I am a friend of Dwayne's, helping out with his theater and putting together the shows. San Francisco is really, you know, a great place for exploring queer mind frames and performances. It's a good space, and it's a lot of good things going on, and I'm excited to be a part of it, for sure.
When I was young, I wanted to be a pink dolphin.
This is, ooh, wait, how can we make this look good? Oh, we need the light here. So, we had an event this past weekend, which was the 25th anniversary of performance of Keith Hennessy, the world-famous performance artist. Ooh, God, we had 50 artists performing in 3 different rooms over a span of 12 hours.
All going down to see the Lord Jesus. All going down to see the Lord Jesus.
San Francisco is the biggest experimental queer arts community within the United States, even bigger than New York City and Los Angeles per capita. So when we get together, there's a couple of us who are like really close friends who have open spaces. Stuff, you know, shit gets really cracking and rocking, and we have a good old time, and everybody gets to enjoy and love and build community and see each other, because we're always working. Everybody in San Francisco works. We make no money here. We do not have a socialized system here for money. We panhandle, or we actually do sex trade. Sex trade's really big, actually, for the San Francisco artists. So, not me, I'm too old.
So, what we're gonna do tonight is we're gonna go through about 9 rounds stuff.
Mission of Mama Calizo's Voice Factory is to nurture the development of queer and activist performers and educators. We believe that all talent is worthy of development, that no talent should be denied access to develop their creativity. And we also place a special emphasis on supporting the work of people with HIV, the trans community, people of color, and women and men with life-threatening illnesses, all queers.
Hi, we're at Wild Card, a popular shop in the Castro that has a lot of cards, gifts, and souvenirs, and this is one of the star attractions. Asian visitors come here by the busload to rub the penis for good luck. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling lucky.
Before we start the show, though, we need our DJ, Downey. Oh, he just went back, thanks. And we need the tech guy, Zach, Pink Feather. Oh, she just passed out.
For about 15 years, the drag scene was dominated by a club called Tranny Shack, which is pretty legendary and well-known around the world, and it was actually at the Stud. And then about 1.5 years ago, they stopped. There was another club that just ended recently called Charlie Horse that was the punk rock drag show. It never cost anything to get in, and the show was between a mess and a rock concert and a polished number. It depended on the evening and who was performing. There's a lot of drag queens in San Francisco. I've never seen as many drag queens in one place. But as far as people who perform regularly, it's a tight community, and it's really supportive and really fun and creative. People are stepping outside of the nightlife and doing things in theaters and writing their own things and talking on stage instead of just lip syncing. I think there's a healthy amount of competition in San Francisco in the drag community, and I think that enough people have a good enough sense to realize that it's just all about fun and not hate. Sorry, had to wave at my bartender. Hi, Bernie. Generally, it seems that trans people are definitely more marginalized than just gay people, because gender is more a sticking point for some folks in sexuality right now. But as a drag queen and a performer, it seems that, I mean, one of my favorite drag queens, Anaconda, who used to do Charlie Horse, is now running for public office. And so I think there's a lot of respect for what we do, and nightlife seems to be so important to people in San Francisco and such a hotbed of creative activity that, like, there's more power than marginalization.
Hi, we're at Given, a very popular art and design boutique, and this is the site where Harvey Milk had his camera shop and his campaign headquarters. The owner of this shop really appreciates the history of this location. Hi, Nick. Yes. And he's commissioned a mural of Harvey by a local artist, and it has one of my favorite quotes of Harvey's on it. If a bullet should enter my brain, let that bullet destroy every closet door.
San Francisco has been a spiritual center for freaks for a long, long time. Pearls Over Shanghai and the Cockettes takes us back about 40 years. In fact, this is the year of the 40th anniversary of the Cockettes' first performance on stage. The Cockettes, this loose group of gender-bending queer performers, danced on stage on New Year's Eve, 1969 to 1970. After that, for the next 2 years plus, they would every month come up with a new on-stage spectacular. Pearls Over Shanghai is the penultimate Cockettes piece, and we've revived it after 40 years and are doing it with some of the original Cockettes, including Scrumbly Caldwin, who composed the music 40 years ago. He's our musical director and muse.
Here we have the advantage of all these years that we've learned a lot, and I spruced up the music, I added things here and there, had a top-notch director who really knew how to make this work, and some great performers who love doing this, you know, celebrating in the way that the Cockettes did. The only difference is that a lot of them are, well, they certainly all have a lot more theatrical experience than we did.
Selling apples and wine, God's please pity poor peasant girl.
The show is, I think, heavy on the makeup, wouldn't you say, guys? Yeah. Sexually liberating, sexually and artistically liberating, I should say. It's nonsensical. It is theater of the ridiculous.
Evil.
Certainly some people who were there in 1970 and 71 and saw the Cockettes perform, and for them it's a very different scene. I mean, not only is it 40 years later, but really the audience at a Cockette show was probably on LSD. But if not, they were on something else.
I'm just an innocent little Puerto Rican girl named Dolores Douche who made it all the way over to China. I think she really enjoys being a prostitute.
Shanghai, that glorious city, Shanghai. You'll be sitting pretty when you stroll the streets with a Chinese beauty or a Russian beauty. Shanghai.
The first time I saw the play, I thought everybody was gay. And I'm still, you know, pretty much of that opinion. I don't care what they say. Like I always say, you know, if somebody says, is so-and-so gay? I say, I don't know, I haven't had sex with them. And even then.
Even then you
really don't know. So, you know. And that's kind of the point, one of the many points of the show, and just the philosophy of the Cockettes, is that sexuality, is, as well as gender and everything else, is very fluid and can change.
The show has a variety, has many plot lines that run throughout it, various plot lines. Some complete, some incomplete.
There's nice employment of allegory, some parallels to modern issues.
And the basic point of the entire exercise is, you know, live your life with integrity, don't hurt anybody else, and have a good time.
Do what you will and harm
Okay. And wear lots of glitter.
Yeah, and be fabulous, please.
Thanks for coming along on our tour of the Castro, one of the world's most famous neighborhoods. Take a break from the Czech Republic and come and visit us soon.
Si San Francisco s'effondre, si San Francisco s'effondre, San Francisco, où êtes-vous? Lise les Luc, Sylvia, attendez-moi.